All right, let's get cooking. Welcome to the latest edition of Chin Check Sports Radio. I'm your host, JD. I want to thank you all for taking the time out to join us. And as always, we welcome any suggestions, feedback, comments, and criticisms, which improves the quality of our program, which ultimately improves your listening experience. Before we get started, we want to send all of you our thank yous for your support. People are slowly but surely finding out about who we are and what we do. They enjoy and respect the passion with which we speak, but we do this because we love it, as we're simply sharing our passions with you all as we continue to build our listening army to take over the world. Dallas Cowboys Week 10 on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning AFC champs. Definitely in America's game of the week. This was a big game on the NFL schedule. Let's jump into our stats here. Quarterback Dak Prescott, 28 of 43 attempts, 216 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 5 times, and a quarterback rating of 57.9. Tony Pollard, 7 carries for 50 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 9 carries, 32 yards. Dalton Schultz, 6 carries, 53 yards. Dalton Schultz, 6 catches, 53 yards. Michael Gallup, 5 catches, 44 yards. Cedric Wilson, 4 catches, 36 yards. On the defensive side, Terrell Basham with a fumble recovery. Keanu Neal, 7 total tackles, 5 solo. Malik Hooker, 5 total tackles, 5 solo. Jaron Kearse, 5 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 INT. Rookie sensation Micah Parsons, 4 total tackles, 4 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, as well as a strip sack fumble. Going to this game, the Dallas Cowboys were without number 1 wide receiver Amari Cooper, who contracted COVID-19. We wish Amari a speedy recovery. Now, with the weapons that the Cowboys have, you wouldn't think that it wouldn't be that big of a deal, and Amari clearly is their best wide receiver, their most refined wide receiver. Definitely takes some pressure off the defense, and it was not to be. The Cowboys' offense came out horrible. The defense having a rough first quarter, I thought the defense definitely righted the ship. This was the offense who did not have a good game, and let's start in the trenches. The Dallas Cowboys decided to make a change at left guard, benching Connor Williams for Connor McGovern. If you guys don't know who Connor McGovern is, in a couple of the games, they were part of that jumbo package or wishbone package where they would line up a lineman in the backfield as a lead blocker. Connor Williams at times has been the weak link of the offensive line. Maybe they saw something that I didn't see, but I didn't think he needed to be benched for that. And I think when you pull a player for this type of game in Week 10, where's a continuity on the offensive line? You still don't have Tyron Smith, so you have Terrence Steele, who's still relatively new, playing left tackle. Now you have a guy making his first start, so you have an inexperienced left side of the offensive line. With Connor Williams there, you clearly would have had more experience on the left side of the offensive line. And it showed because the Cowboys could not run the ball, where throughout the season, the Kansas City Chiefs defense, especially their run defense, was seen as a huge weakness on the team, and the Cowboys could not exploit it. Chris Jones, and congratulations to him. Of course, he has his career-high 3.5 sacks, hadn't done a damn thing all season, no shade to anybody, and played his best game and probably is going to make the Pro Bowl based on his game. So again, the Cowboys were whipped up front, whipped in the trenches. The offensive line was getting pushed back. They could not impose and enforce their will on the Kansas City Chiefs defensive line. Again, that was seen as their weakness. That is a huge problem. That is something that they need to rectify very quickly. Hopefully they get Tyron Smith back pretty soon, because this stuff needs to be cleaned up. I'm not going to put all of it on Terrence Steele. Of course, he had a couple of bad penalties here and there, but overall, the offensive line did not have a good game today, especially going against that KC defense who, on paper, coming into this game, was supposed to be a clear advantage for the Cowboys. Let's get to our wide receivers. Again, missing Amari Cooper. You still have CeeDee Lamb. You still have a return of Michael Gallup. And while the Cowboys are driving at the end of the first half, to at least to tighten this thing up, Dak throws an awful interception, just gave away points. And while throwing their pass that was intended for one CeeDee Lamb, the defender makes the interception. CeeDee Lamb has now turned into a defender. And you knew something was wrong where walking in to the locker room at the end of the first half, CD, it looked like he had to be escorted. He was walked, guided by Cowboy staff. And next thing you know, he didn't come out for the second half, and then we eventually got word that he had a head injury. And when you saw the replay, it did appear that the back of his head did slam against the turf while playing a defender trying to ward off that interception thrown by Dak Prescott. So the Cowboys down Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, their top 2 wide receivers. Now this is on Dak. This is what you pay quarterbacks money for. Now again, Aaron Rodgers did not have all of his running backs and went to Arizona and smacked them up. So I cannot let Dak Prescott off the hook. This was not his best game. The last interception, okay, it was a result of a tip pass, but that first interception did not need to happen. The offensive line was out of sorts. Again, as evidenced by the 5 sacks. 3.5 was attributed to Chris Jones. And again, I also have to look at this is not the type of performance where a quarterback who has Super Bowl aspirations, MVP aspirations, I can make an argument that Dak's MVP ambitions have taken a little bit of a hit based on this performance, because in the last 2 out of 3 weeks, he's had piss poor performances against the Denver Broncos and now the Kansas City Chiefs. To be considered an elite team, to be considered a Super Bowl contender, these are the games that you're supposed to win or at least look competitive on the offensive side to make these things happen. I don't want to hear the press conference, we have to get better, we have to do this, we have to do that. I give the chin check radio game ball to the defense. Really, besides giving up 9 points in the first quarter, a touchdown really at the beginning of the second quarter, which you can say is truly an extension of the first quarter on that particular drive. The Cowboys defense only gave up 3 points from really the second quarter on this Kansas City explosive defense, getting sacks, getting turnovers. They did an excellent job, and it was an offense in this game that did not come through. Fellow Cowboys fans and other football fans, when the Cowboys were riding high and they were winning games, everybody kept anointing Kellen Moore the next new head coach. There were the Cowboys fans stating that if they were to get rid of Mike McCarthy, that Kellen Moore would be next in line to be the head coach. And we kept saying it because we had Chin Check Radio. We don't overreact to wins, nor do we gloss over losses. And we kept saying that we're not completely sold on Kellen Moore yet as a head coach. And Cowboys fans really couldn't understand why. If this game was not evidence as to why we are not sold on Kellen Moore as a head coach, look no further than this game. I could not understand trying to get cute. Yes, they were in a real tough environment playing in Arrowhead, but they're professionals and they're supposed to win these type of games, especially when you have these type of Super Bowl aspirations. You want to make a playoff run. There were times in this game where I myself had to question some of the play calling by Kellen Moore. And again, we're not going to put all of it on him because, again, as a player, you must go out and you must execute. So he is getting his slice of the blame pie. There were times in the game where the Cowboys would get a nice first down gain via the run, 5-6 yards here, 8 yards here, and then the very next play you call some type of sweet pop pass. You call a pass to the wide receiver behind the line of scrimmage instead of going forward down the field. Now you want to get cute and fancy where you can just line up and run the football at them. You have a running back in Ezekiel Elliott where a particular injury that it appeared that he sustained in the first half where he was limping badly, came back in the game. I don't know if that was still he was dealing with the effects of said ankle injury, but I thought Zeke ran pretty decent. They couldn't establish the run. I had to put some of this on Kellen Moore because some of the play calling, especially when you were lining up and running the ball at him and playing smash mouth football, then you want to get cute, which kills the momentum of the game. Now you're losing yardage. You have a wasted down. So I didn't think that this was Kellen Moore's best game as a play caller. Again, hopefully he can improve, but this was not his best game as a play caller. So we'll just flat out state this. Dak Prescott, again, did not play well, was missing some passes, but when you put some of this on the wide receivers too, you had 4 drops today. And let me say this again, 4 drops today that was credited to the wide receivers. And in some cases, these were crucial drops that really halted the Cowboys' momentum as they were trying to score. And you cannot have these type of drops as a team with playoff aspirations, as a team trying to win on the road in a hostile environment against a team that's on the rise like the Kansas City Chiefs. They are still the defending AFC champs. They still have pride about themselves. They still have Patrick Mahomes. And again, you cannot have 4 drops on the road against a team like that. Dak Prescott missed Michael Gallup on a wide open play that really could have set the tone for the game in the Cowboys' favor. I thought it set the tone in the opposite direction. So it's something where we cannot have these games. Again, we're not going to overreact and say that the sky is falling. But these are the things where if you wonder why folks are a little bit reticent to say the Cowboys are ready for the Super Bowl, these are some of the games. Why? Because the Cowboys have now lost to both Super Bowl participants, the Buccaneers in Week 1. Yes, it was a spirited effort, but a loss is a loss. They played a very competitive game on the road at Kansas City. So yes, they played both Super Bowl participants on the road, and they are now 0-2. Yes, they played tough games, but losses are losses. The defense, I thought, played an excellent game past that first quarter. And again, the offense did nothing, and this is where the majority of the money is spent on the offense. So games like this, where the majority of the salary cap and the majority of the money is spent on the offense is supposed to come through, and they're supposed to make it happen. So the Cowboys going into a short week, Thanksgiving, they need to get over this loss very quickly while they're packing their bags and getting ready to head to the airport to fly back to Dallas. They have the Raiders this week. Again, that's not going to be an easy game, especially on a short week. So I don't know what their preparation is going to be for this week, but they need to get over this loss, regroup, rewrite the ship. Let's get back on the winning track because, again, they still have the Raiders coming up, the Saints coming up, and now they're going to start getting into their divisional play on the road. So having these type of games where your offense is not in sync, your quarterback is not playing well, your wide receivers are dropping passes, your offensive line is getting their lunch eaten. They need to clean this stuff up very quickly. So we'll be watching for Thanksgiving, and you all have a blessed holiday. And until the next time, the Chin Check Radio signing out.